It is summer, and I'm sure you are feeling that crash that so many of us feel after an incredible school year where you've done a lot of amazing things, but also it's been a lot, right? There are so many circumstances that were asked of you this past year, the 2025-2026 school year, and it might have taken a lot out of you. And that's why this episode, where we're talking Gilmore Girls and beach mishaps and hallway hugs in the classroom, is going to help you revitalize your love for teaching and help you to feel seen and heard and laugh and kick off your summer in a really great way. So I'm really excited to share this episode with you today. And also, I'm going to be sharing an opportunity where you can join me in the podcast studio along with Joe and Jamie, who you'll meet in this episode in just a few weeks, absolutely free. Welcome to Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast to help you revitalize your teaching, renew your spirit, and reignite your passion for life. I'm your host, Kelsey Sorensen, a former teacher, current homeschool mom, published author, and certified life coach. Whether you are a teacher in a traditional classroom, homeschool from your kitchen table, or anywhere in between, I am on a mission to help you not only survive as an educator, but thrive. Get ready to uplevel your skills with incredible insights from guest experts and discover the missing piece, rejuvenating yourself. Are you ready to both educate and rejuvenate? Let's go. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to be back here for the second week in 2026, sharing another great episode with you. And today, I'm really excited to introduce or reintroduce, if you caught this episode, I did this interview last year with Joe and Jamie from the Balancing Act podcast, because they are going to be some of our keynote speakers on day two. They are going to be our keynote speakers on day 2 of our summer refresh event, and I just cannot wait. So let me tell you a little bit about how this year's event is structured, because it's different from past years, but in the best way. Day 1 on June 30th is going to be our Educate Day. That is where we're focused on teaching strategies. And specifically, I've asked every speaker to share ways that are going to help you feel less overwhelmed going into the next school year, because I know a lot of times you'll come to a summit, even like past Educate and Rejuvenate events, and you'll be filled with a notebook of ideas and feel inspired during the event. But then after, you're like, and now I just feel even more inadequate. Like, how could I possibly do all of this? So this event this time is really about helping you streamline, make things easier than possible. Our keynote with Teresa Quant is, you might recognize her from Instagram. She's known for Canva and the hacks that she shares for teachers. And go look her up right now. She's great. She's so good. She's going to be our keynote on day 1. And then on day 2 is our Rejuvenate Day. And that is where Joe and Jamie come in. They are going to be doing a live podcast recording, another one just like this, exclusively for our summer refresh. And it won't come out on the podcast for months. So if you are live, you get to be in the room where it happens. You get to hear it first. You get to actually ask your questions and help shape the episode and be part of the conversation. And if you don't know Joe and Jamie yet, that is exactly why I'm re-airing this interview today, because I genuinely don't think words can do them justice. Like, even when I was just, preparing to have an interview with them and doing some back and forth via text and email to get them on the calendar, I had no clue until I got into this episode how much I was going to love them. And I know you're going to too. They are hilarious. They are real. They are the kind of people that you just want to pull up a chair next to and talk to for hours, that you wish they were at your school. And it's exactly the energy they're bringing to day 2 of the summer refresh. So think of today's episode as your preview. Get to know them a little bit here, fall in love with them a little bit, and just come be in the room with us on July 1st for the podcast we'll do live all together. The summer refresh is that's what we're calling, if you're like, what are you talking about, the summer refresh? It's the same event we've been doing the last 5 years. If you've been following along with us, we've had thousands of teachers join us at this event. And historically, you've always had to pay for a ticket to come to this event, even for general admission. But this year, we've made general admission free for the first time ever in 5 years. And we've always had thousands of teachers join us. As I'm recording this, weeks ahead of the event, we already have over 2,500 teachers signed up. So it's going to be our biggest event yet, with the most momentum in the room. It's going to be so much fun. You can grab your free spot at educateandrejuvenate.com/summer 2026 and learn even more about the event than what I just shared here. So if you like what you hear on today's episode, you're going to love the event. But for now, let's get into this interview so you can get a taste of exactly what's coming on day 2. Enjoy this incredible interview. All right, I am so thrilled for today's interview. I've got Joe and Jamie here from the Balancing Act podcast. First, can you two introduce yourselves and tell our Educate Rejuvenate listeners about you and what you do?
Of course. Hey, Kelsey. So good to see you. Matchy, of course. I have to fangirl again over Kelsey's lipstick and wall and shirt and all the things. I am Jamie Wanko. Are you here, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, hey,
Joe?
I'm sorry. I was letting you do your thing. I'm Joe Vitale, and we are the co-hosts and creators of the Balancing Act podcast.
Yeah, so Joe and I started our podcast without recording it many, many years ago as our friendship.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yes.
You started without recording it.
Yeah.
We just decided one day like we should just keep doing this, but let's actually film it. So Joe and I became friends as teachers, colleagues, parents of children of the same age. Years ago, Joe had moved to Pennsylvania. I didn't know him then. And when he came back to New Jersey, we met. He was a tech support in a position of tech support in our school district, and I was a tech enthusiast, a trier, if you will. So we met and started working together, doing some projects together. Realized that his kids who had just moved from another state were the same age as my older son, and we said, oh, they like this and that. So our kids became friends, and then our spouses became friends, and then we realized we had never known that our families had shore houses. Our whole lives a couple of miles away from each other. So we started spending our time not only in our town where we live together, but also in our favorite vacation spot, Long Beach Island, New Jersey. And so we were able to take our chats onto the sand where, all the best chats happen. And so we decided we're going to start our 3rd season. This is our 3rd season. Who are we? I don't even know anymore.
Amazing.
Our 3rd
right?
season of our podcast. And it has really become such a place for us to meet incredible people like you, Kelsey, and to learn all sorts of things, not just to make us better spouses, parents, teachers, but just people in general. And
Yeah, we started these conversations that we would have once we started working in the same building. I heard that a position opened up in the building that I work in because we're in the same district, and I was like, you need to come over here. You need to come over here. You need to come over here. You should come over here. You know what? I'll talk to my principal about you coming over here. You should come over here. I think you need to come over here.
Yeah.
I
have been in the same building for 20.
You think she needed to go over
yeah,
there?
right?
I mean, I'd been in the same building for 21 years, so when you are, when you're a teacher and you kind of, sometimes believe like, oh, I'm going to start and end in the same exact spot. So it was a big move.
Mm-hmm.
So I migrated over there and thank goodness I did. But
yeah, we have been talking before that about, speaking about burnout, that she was kind of at a point where, oh, I need a change. And I was like, well, the universe is a funny way of making things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything Jamie says is completely true, although some of it might have been over cocktails. We're like, we should start a podcast. Yeah, let's do that. And then here we are. But no, our ultimate goal was we realized we had so many common themes, even including down to like parents who have older parents who have health issues that we've unlocked that secret level of parenting, which is parenting your parents.
Yes.
The
impossible level.
Yeah, the impossible level. The final boss, if you will, if you're a video game player. But yeah, it's something that we always have. We had these conversations, in the hallway in the morning, or during lunch, and then the bell would ring, and we were like, "Damn it, we want to continue that." And then here we are. We just, I had enough tech skill to be able to get some things to a certain point, and now our listenership is growing. We're getting into more people's ears and into their cars, because our number one goal, not to sound hokey or corny, was to help as many people as we can. We thought we had some knowledge, whether you were a new teacher just getting into the classroom or a veteran who was like, am I the only one experiencing this? And then you get to realize, well, no, there's not. There are other people out there that are rowing in the same direction as I am. Maybe they're just in their own boat, you know?
And I think also what we do that is a little bit different from some of the other similar teachers or some of this sort of is a lot of we're actually still in the classroom. So we're in it day to day. Whereas especially like if you go to professional development, there's a lot of like people who left the classroom, which is obviously brings like a wonderful world of experience. And they, had that real world to back up what they're saying and doing. But this year, Joe is starting his 27th year teaching. I'm starting my 25th year teaching. And so we are, also parents of school-age children. And so we're really sort of in every different part of, what that means and what that looks like. And so we feel like that's a really special part of what we have also is that we're in it, on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Well, and I love that because I get asked that a lot with like our event when we have speakers, like, do you have any current teachers speaking? Because I mean, even myself, I'm one of those who is not currently in the classroom full time. Now I do homeschool my kids and I teach twice a week, like at the wellness studio, a group of random kids each week, which is so fun, but I'm not like in the traditional classroom every day. So it is like a different vantage point. The great thing with like my coaching is that like, it is nice to come with a little bit of outside perspective, but also I think it's so good that current teachers are in here doing the work too, because we need current teachers in the classroom doing podcasts and speaking. It shouldn't just only be people like me who is like, oh yeah, I was in the classroom 10 years ago and now I teach in all these other ways, which is great, but it's good to have a variety of perspectives and people that we can listen to. Absolutely. And I love that you are out there helping teachers with balancing all the different things that we balance. Like, I feel like there's just so much like with aging parents and with parenting your own children and teaching and all the other stuff.
Yeah. Right? I mean, just dinner alone is a, right. I mean, the thing that never ends. Dinner. What's for dinner?
Yeah.
What's for dinner? Whenever kids ask that and you don't know the answer, you're just like, I don't know. Like, stop bugging me.
Well, Jamie,
like, I know I need to feed you.
I mean, I write it on I have a dry erase on my refrigerator.
You actually have a very interesting answer for when your kids ask what's for dinner. And I don't know.
I'm not going to say it here, Kelsey, because it's not a nice response.
Now I really want to hear it.
No, it's a little. I actually was listening to a podcast recently, and oh my goodness, she has that new Netflix show, and she's like that Southern comedian, Leanne.
Oh, I know. Okay. I can picture her in my mind.
Okay, so she is like really,
but I don't know her name.
This new show, and
I feel like Netflix is coming out with so many things I can't even keep up. I mean, it's K-pop demon hunters at my house right now.
And she even she just recently sat down and spoke with Oprah, and so there's a word that I love to use, which isn't really maybe a nice word, but if my kids ask me what's for dinner, because I have it written down, I do it on Sundays and I write it for the week, but they still want to ask me, so I reply buttholes, which is not nice. It's not nice, but I'm gonna tell you that recently when I listened to her, I never felt so validated and seen in my entire life, because she was saying it over and over and over, and I'm like, are you talking to Oprah and you just said butthole? But she did it, so I was like, woohoo, green light. I'm saying it everywhere.
So you will hear things like this as well as other hard-hitting topics on our podcast.
We go high and we go low.
I loved it.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
Honestly,
I need to start listening to your podcast.
This is what it's like with the two of us. But
Leanne Morgan.
Leanne
Morgan
to belabor
is her.
it, but it's good, bad, and it. Oh. That's right.
Leanne Morgan, yeah.
It is the good, bad, and ugly of all of it, right? There's times where, like, and Kelsey, like there's days that are good, there's days that are bad, there's days that are, what is, you actually just said it on our episode, every day is a replay, right? I think, one of your listeners may have said that. And
whenever there's a bad day, whenever you have a bad day, there's always a replay.
And I think, and to use a sports analogy, right? I play golf with my son a lot now, and I try to tell him, like, okay, the most important shot is the next one. Like, okay, you hit a crappy shot. But if you dwell on that, then you need to figure out, okay, how can I recover? What is my next step? Like, it's hard to put yourself in that mindset all the time, right? It's also, yes, it's going to get frustrating if you hit bad shot after bad shot after bad shot, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. There's days where it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Mama said there'd be days like this. But then there's days where, okay, you can put that behind you and figure out, how do I recover? How do I put myself in the mindset of, now this is the most important step forward for me? And I realize it's a golf analogy, but like I try to use that a little bit in life. Like if the lesson didn't go well, if the experience didn't go well, if the conversation didn't go well, there's always going to be another one.
Yeah.
Where you're going to have that opportunity again. So
I love that. And it really is like, too often we try to let our past, like, oh, I made this mistake and that mistake, and we let that determine our future. And it doesn't have to. If we, like you said, we shift our mindset about it, we realize it is about the next play. It's not about the last 20 plays, right? We can learn from those 20 plays. And then, but what are we going to do next? It can be different.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay. So, what we were talking on your show a lot about different tools that we love for rejuvenation, but mainly it was me sharing what I love. I shared about the anchor menu. I shared about our permission slips and different things on your show. I want to hear now, what are your favorite tools for rejuvenation?
Ladies first.
Okay. So I should like ask like who, I'm like interviewing two people. I'm like, okay, Jamie, you can go. Okay.
So I love the ampersand of the right. Isn't that I want to say like that's a little shout out to my many nights of watching Wheel of Fortune with my parents. And so the idea of your educate and I think that obviously so much of that comes from our whatever our special interests might be, and so there's this defining line, I think, especially for women who are moms like I am, that there were so many years. My children now are 17 and 13. I have twins that are 13. So I have 3 kids. And for a really long time, I think so much of my there wasn't a lot of rejuvenate because it was just like educate and mom. And there was just so
and do the laundry and do the dishes.
It was right, all the things that come along with being a mom, and the homework and the shuffling, and so I feel in the last probably 4 or 5 years where the kids have been able to be more responsible, pack their own lunches, get their breakfast together, pick out their own clothing, things like that, where I've given been given that time back, and so there's an interesting spin to be able to sort of analyze like, well, what. Right. Who was I before I was in charge of all of these tiny humans? And, and then what is that, because nobody has enough time. Right. So what are the things that I really want to choose to make, the best use of the time that I have in ways that are really going to, fuel. So for me, honestly, the last couple of years, like the podcast has been such a rejuvenate for me. I am a constant observer of people. I absolutely love to hear other people's stories, hear what really gets them going, fires them up, and sort of soak all of that in. And so I've loved being able to speak to people from all different parts of the world, honestly, at this point, and then also hear, their experiences and their challenges and struggles and how they've overcome that. Of course, like on a day-to-day basis, I am like the biggest Netflix. There's nothing I love more than television, to be honest with you. When I was a kid, I was limited to 1 show a day. And I swear that's had like the adverse effect of how much I love television as an adult.
You're like, I'm a grown up now. I can say how much TV I watch.
It's so true. And to be honest with you, when fall comes, and this is the longest I've ever gone without my true life's passion, watching Gilmore Girls. I've been making myself wait a really long time for that. And so to me, like rejuvenate is also like watching the same show that I've already seen 400 times. And then of course, I will say like if it's of the sea, it's for me. So I love to boogie board and body surf and jet ski and paddleboard and anything that has to do with water. So those are the things that really make me feel good, which is difficult like in the when it's January in New Jersey because we have none of that. But
a little cold.
But of course, reading, exploring, talking, friends, all of those things really, you know. And then of course I have to say, like, watching my kids at this point, they're like really coming into themselves has been just unbelievable. It's really exciting stuff. So yeah.
A lot of my things are the same.
Copycat.
I'm going to put my mic down a little bit.
And so that's why you're such good friends, right?
Yeah, no, we do have a lot of things in common.
We do.
Absolutely. And I'm an active person. I was
going to say, Joe does a lot more things with movement than I do.
Yeah. Not as much recently. I've kind of, I've been a cyclist. I ride my bike and I I run. But I really haven't been doing much of that recently. I kind of like, it was funny. I'd run some marathons and half marathons, and I was like, okay, I'm going to train for another race. And I had this as my thing that I wanted to do for like in the new year, not a New Year's resolution thing. That's not what it was. But like, it's like, all right, rededicate myself to running. And I'm outside and I'm bundled up and it's January and I'm going on a long run. And I'm like, I don't enjoy this. So I realized, like, I enjoy running. I do. I don't enjoy being cold. My favorite part of winter is when it's over. That is my usual joke. Because I enjoy like being outside. So for me, a lot of it was like, being active and doing things outdoors. So like I made a golf analogy before. I like to play golf and hang out with my friends and do stuff like that. Big in not necessarily experiences, but like, I've had some friends of mine with some health issues. Close friend of mine, a fraternity brother, passed away a few years ago unexpectedly. So I try to, spend more time with people that I care about outside of my family. I mean, I love my family, I do. But, traveling and doing things, I see friends of mine every year just to kind of, check in, see how they're doing. People I care about, I want to make sure that I spend time with them while they're able to enjoy that time. But yeah, that's really, the main ways that I rejuvenate, both during the school year, trying to be active. It's harder in the winter months, but a lot of it is, spending time with my wife, going out with friends for a good meal somewhere, things like that just allow me to recharge the batteries and enjoy all there is to offer in life.
Yeah. I love all the things that both of you said about all the different things that make you outside of teaching, right? You named, like, Jamie loves, like, the water. I love how that came up on the other podcast too, because they used a total water analogy. and then Joe loves, like, running outside when it's not cold. And all the things that make you outside of teaching. And what I would love to ask is, like, because what I find when I talk to a lot of teachers, and for one, I love that you named so many things that you love to do, because what I found sometimes is I ask, what do you love to do outside of teaching and parenting and the laundry and that other list of things that you do?
You will never be lonely, because laundry will always be there for you.
Laundry will always be there for you.
Yeah, it's always there. Sorry.
But how is it that you make the time for those things? Because we have to create that time. It doesn't just, like, magically come on a platter and be like, here's all this time for you to do all these incredible things that you love to do. We can easily be overtaken by the laundry and the dishes and teaching and lesson planning and all of that.
I think for me, not to speak for Jamie, also just to go back to, like, the podcast definitely has become something, as a third space for us to really reflect. And I've talked about this openly. Like, I do this with somebody whose ability as a teacher I greatly admire. I think I think Jamie's amazing at what she does. But a lot of times, because we have a good friendship, and I might say things that she can give me another perspective on, which makes me think about it in a different manner, which allows me to be a better teacher, a better father, better husband, better partner, stuff like that. So, and I hope vice versa.
Yes.
But there's definitely, that actually helps us a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of that, like, I have a very supportive spouse. Like, she's not going to stand in the way, like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you're going out running again. Or like, yeah, there's a point of contention for it. Sure. If it's done at the wrong times, but she's very supportive in knowing that, like, I need that time to be
right.
Like, I'm not going out drinking with the guys. I'm not going to the bar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, like, that's not, no, honestly, like, that's not my thing.
Not your thing.
I'll have I have a drink every once in a while, but that's not my my main form of entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have
Right.
a very supportive partner that knows that like I need that in order to be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
So that time is made, but it's like something that needs to be put into place in order for me to decompress and have do all the things that need to be done as a husband, father, and teacher.
Yeah. My mom became quite ill 3 years ago, and we were told she would have less than 6 months to live. She's still alive 3 years later, and it became this like redefinition of pretty much everything that I do, and the way that I do it. And so what I have come to is that time is very limited, and so I, every year I pick a word. My word for 2025 is worth, and so
I love
everything
that.
really comes down to like, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? Is this worth, how much of my emotional space am I going to give to this? What I also realized is that a lot of times I think people feel that they need to quantify or defend what it is that they like to do to others. And so there's this really interesting space, right, of like, I love sleep. And so I also have a very supportive spouse who's also a teacher. And so we both have time, more time than if if he was working till 6 or 7 o'clock. Right. So,
Right.
but he likes to sleep late, and I am an early to bed, early to rise person. So respecting each other's like need for sleep, but at the time that it works is also really important. If I say like one of my favorite activities is watching television, I don't need anybody to tell me that there's a better use of my time, because it's my time. And that, and so I think, it's sort of like, did you grow up in a sleep supportive house? Like if you slept until 11 a.m., did someone say to you, like, you wasted half the day? Or did someone say, you must have really needed that sleep? And so I think that like the idea of supporting what another person needs for them, you don't need to understand it. You need to support it and allow it, so that there's not that shame in what it is that someone may or may not like to do. So if you want to go out, if you want to go out for a 20-mile bike ride, like amazing. And if you want to spend like an hour on the couch, equally amazing, right? It's what that person needs at that time. And so I think that it has been also, and I hate to be negative to the mans out there, but what genuinely helped to reshape my attitude and behavior is the understanding that men, most of them, I won't say all, but most of them don't feel guilty about doing things for themselves. And so what I
found that in my marriage.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
My
wife and I have had that
my
discussion.
husband is he loves the gym. That is like what he needs to do. He goes multiple days of the week for many, many hours that he is there. And when he is there, I know he is not worrying about like picking up the medication, dropping off. Is the macaroni boiled? Are the cleats clean? He's only doing what he is doing in that moment for himself. And so I have had to tell myself to do that, because it's not natural to me as a mom. It's like I'm interconnected. You are cellularly connected to your child in a way. I tell my kids all the time that, oh, Mom, don't worry. I grew you.
Yes.
Grew you in my being. I cannot not worry or think of you. But I have tried to mentally say to myself, like, it's okay for you to take that and sort of move it to the side.
Right.
Because your husband, their father, loves them as much as you do, and he has no problem doing that. So I've given myself that grace to say, and that is, I think, the missing piece for so many of us in so many ways, of like, really give yourself the grace. It's okay. They're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be much better off for it. So that's something, and that's a work in progress for me that I
agree.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like,
No.
I mean, my husband's that way too. It's not a bad thing. I'm like, oh, I wish I could like naturally be more like that.
Jealous.
Because we should be able to both both my husband and I and all of us and our partners, we should be able to enjoy our time. That is our time, and then support each other. I love how we've been talking a lot about having a supportive partner where you both get that time. But when you do, like, actually doing your best to unplug your brain a little bit, like, it's okay. Like, that can wait. Like, that's one thing that I learned from one of the coaches that I've had is like, decide, like, when it does come up in your brain, be like, oh, remember, we're going to do that. Like, and then just remind your brain, we're not like ignoring it. This is when we decided we're going to look at that again. And then it can help it settle down. I try to do that, but I'm still like, I think it's a woman thing that we just are always going to be working with, but over time it can get better.
It can. Yes.
Husbands, am I right? You know, I just okay.
And Joe, I have to say, is a super involved dad, and is always doing things and worrying. He's more of like I don't want to, sorry, Joe.
No, you can.
Right? Like,
because I was going to make the point.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Joe definitely worries more than like the average dad and about like his kids more in like a maternal way than would be typical, I think. And so he can identify with that 150%.
And I also have trouble as a person who has anxiety and ADHD. And like I when you're out and you're running 5 miles for 45 minutes and you're like, you can't not think about like, okay, when I get home,
not think about things that are going on.
Like,
yeah,
like your brain, and I'm sure that there are things that your husband James will think about in the gym when he's allegedly lifting weights. It's a long running joke.
No, he does, but he worries about things that are not important. Because he is someone who suffers from anxiety. So I don't want to say not important, but he will, and that is something a trait I see in our kids. So I'll say, I'm worrying about like the car insurance, but you're worrying about like whether or not, it's not the same.
I get it.
You know what I mean? So I know he's thinking of things as just not the same, in the same way, but, and so it's interesting. Everyone has their things,
They have this amazing relationship between the two of them, and I think Tracy and I kind of mirror it, but in a different way. But I'm going to tell a story for your listeners.
I want to hear it. I love the stories.
We're on the beach last summer.
Like
this is legitimately one of my favorite stories. Yeah. We're on the beach last summer, and Jamie's sitting in the chair, and she tells her nephew, like, hey, could you pick up my thing? She has like this thing that goes on her chair. It's like a little hood thing, and it was filled with sand. Okay. And he picks it up and puts it over her because she wanted shade. And the sand immediately all over her face, in her eye, down her bathing suit. She closes her eyes. She's blowing it out. Sand all over the place. I'm sitting like next to her on the beach. Her husband is right across from her. Okay? She gets up. She runs past him. She runs into the beach. And runs into the ocean. Yeah. She rinses herself off. It's a couple minutes. Okay, I witnessed this. I'm like, oh, that was not good. And then, like, she comes back, and she's, like, looking around. She's grabbing her towel, and she's obviously upset. And she's like, well, did she see something on the beach? Like, somebody had a phone in their shoe. He's like, who gets their phone in their shoe? Well, that's stupid. And she kind of kicks it out of the way. And her husband was like, what happened? And she goes, Jason, you didn't see him pick up the hood of my thing? And she was agitated. Like, you didn't see him pick up the hood of my thing? You didn't see him? I had sand in my ear, in my hair, in my eyes. It went in my mouth. It was down my suit. I had to go run in the ocean. And he just goes, I swear to God, he goes, oh, that must have been awful for you. And she immediately, just what she did right now, the way she's laughing. I don't want to curse. I kid you not. She immediately laughed in that direction. And then I started laughing. Yeah. And it just, like, you just know that it was not an angry thing. It was not like, how could you not recognize, like, the relationship that they have with one another, the fact that, like, he's oblivious and clueless, and he'll 100% admit it.
Oh, yeah.
That relationship between the two of them is embodied in that conversation. Like, it was just one of the funniest moments I have ever witnessed, ever.
That's
Must
amazing.
have been
But
awful for you. I mean, he was serious.
But now we
Must
say
have
it
been
to
awful. He
we
didn't
all
hear
all
it.
four of us. My daughter will be like, "That must have been awful for you." Like we all say it. Like all of us.
It's like a catchphrase now.
It is literally a catchphrase.
Yes, he
I
has the
love
ability
that.
to take me from like a 10 to a 0 with just like one innocent.
Yeah, and
sorta-
see, that's why when we were saying before about how sometimes your husband like matches your like energy and sometimes he doesn't, like that's the moment. Like he doesn't, like in that moment he needed to be like that. Oh, that must have been awful for you. But he meant that in a genuine way. Like, oh my God, that must
Like,
have
oh,
been
that
awful.
must have been awful.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
legitimately that's what he thought. But he was completely, I mean, he was sitting right across from her. I don't know how he missed it. But he missed it. And it was
He
it
did.
was,
I mean, it's just what makes him.
it was
the
just
best. Yeah.
it was just it is a glorious story. But it
Just a
embodies
little oblivious.
it embodies the relationship between the two of them, though.
True.
You know,
So true.
where my wife is I want to use the word moral compass. You know, that voice in my shoulder of like helping me make decisions. Because when I say like, I often say she's the smartest woman that I know.
She's so. I mean, she's such a sage advisor in
Yeah.
every. In every way. Yes.
And there is no marshmallow fluff on her giving advice. Like she's going to give it to you, and you might not want to hear what you want to hear, but like that's the opinion,
Yeah.
and not necessarily in a bad way, but in a very like direct way. That's how she analyzes things, and I think that's also part of us in our careers. My wife is a nurse now. She's an academic. She's an associate dean at Rutgers and teaching nurses to be nurses.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and she's very, very good at what she does. Shout out to my wife, who's also getting, I never remember the name of the organization, but she's being inducted into a nursing organization that has like 3,200 members out of the 2 million in the United States at a ceremony in Washington, D.C. coming up in October. So, we're very proud of her. And that's another one of those things that like I get to watch her do all these amazing things and be a published author and get promoted at her job and be proud of her in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
I know this might sound weird, but her way to rejuvenate is doing those things and having those accomplishments.
Yeah.
And she's not overwhelmed by that. There are times that she is, but she's very like in tune to being successful at what she does because she cares about her profession. She cares about the students that she teaches. It's just a different mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not weird, right? We want to try to
No,
like
not
continue
one
to
bit.
take that.
Well, and there are teachers who want to. I was just coaching a teacher the other day who, like, a coworker was saying, "You need to leave. You need to get out of here." And she's like, "Well, actually, I want to be still in my classroom right now. Like, I feel
yes.
like I want to do this. Like,
Yes.
is that bad?" And it's like, no, if that's what you want to do. Like, we're often telling teachers, you need to leave at contract time, but what if they want to be there later because they love it?
Yes.
That's fine too.
Yes.
Both are valid.
And
As
if
long
it's-
as long as they're not, oh, you're leaving. I have so much stuff to do. You should be staying like I am. As long as they're
Right,
not that.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my boss will say this, like she is. People will say like, oh, I'm busy. I'm blah, blah, blah. My boss is busy. Okay, she's got and for a variety of different reasons. A couple years ago, before her kids were more college age, she had all of her children involved in very high level travel sports. All of her the 3 of the 4 children that are currently in college are all playing athletics at different schools. Like her son plays baseball for the Coast Guard. Like, and she's busy. Okay.
Yeah.
And she was
shuffling
like,
him around.
she was like,
Yeah.
when this day ends, like I'm out of here and I'm mom. Like there are times when I know that she's doing observations and stuff like that, and because you get those little those emails that come through like, oh, your observation was signed at 8:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
Right.
But no, like she's a big like. It's good to also know that you have a supportive boss that knows like, yeah, it's mom first, it's dad first, it's family first, and that is not just a placating response. Like that is an action. Like I know that's the case. Like if I said, hey, I gotta go. Like my daughter's having a blah blah blah. Okay, go. Bye. See you later. Okay, we'll cover you. Adios. There's no question. There's no like that is a great environment to be in. And I feel bad for people that aren't in that environment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah,
agree.
but you don't want people to like project themselves and say like, oh, well, you should be doing this. Well, no, that's me in my space, right?
Yeah.
That's someone not understanding, like Jamie just said, like, you need to understand that you must have really needed that sleep, instead of like, why'd you waste the whole day away?
Right.
Like,
and whether or not you have kids, that's always an issue that I come back to, because there are,
Yes.
there sort of is this idea of like how busy people are based on, how many kids they have or how many activities their kids are in. And I don't really care for that, because I'm
the like badge of honor, busy,
right.
yeah.
And it's sort of this like competitive space that I don't subscribe to, because you're then asking people, there was years and years ago, and it must have shaped me more than I had realized, but there was quite a few people that I worked with that didn't have children. And some of us were just sort of the age where, we just weren't having kids yet. And then there were people like in their 40s and 50s who had chosen not to have kids, or weren't married, or for whatever reason. Right. And there was this sort of like, well, I have kids. There are quiet ways of supporting that. Like, there's a snowstorm coming and, I have to be at a school pickup, where you just say to the person, just go, go, you're okay. Whereas like trying to say, my life is more valid or important,
right,
or, my time is more important than yours, because I have
your time isn't important because you don't have kids at home or whatever.
Or you can't possibly be as fulfilled or busy because like your son plays on a baseball travel team and mine doesn't. That to me is, completely like an insignificant, knowing like family first right out the gate, so important. And I think that that's like kind of more the vibe that she'll go for more than anything else. But the idea of, I have 4 kids and you have 1. No, like we can't get into any of those. I think all
not
of those
the
things,
comparison game.
No.
Yeah.
It's all a very dangerous space. I know that's not what you meant. I just wanted to
if it came across came across that way, I didn't mean it that way.
It didn't to me.
Yeah,
too.
but I just like, I think as if there are younger people in your Educate and Rejuvenate group that are out there, read the room. If you're saying like, oh, I was out till this time and I just didn't get a chance to do this, and like, okay, like maybe that's not the place to be talking about that. If you're in a room full of people that have little kids, and then I've had a candid conversation with one of my coworkers, like, and I look at 2 people in different spaces, and if I say this and it sounds insensitive, I apologize, but I don't.
No,
maybe I do mean it to me. I don't know. Yeah. But like, there's 2 teachers, and I look at 2 teachers, and I'm not using names, but I have one teacher that works. They both live equally distant away. One of them is like, later in their career, late every day. Okay. Another one is got 2 kids that they got to drop off at 2 different, one at elementary school, one at a daycare. The dad works nights. Like they're in it. Right? They are in the weeds, and they are arriving late every day. I'm not looking at the teacher who's dropping the kids off and arriving late every day in the same vein as the person who's living across town, who's later in their career. I don't know what their responsibilities are. Maybe they have something going on, but do they have something going on 10 months out of the year where they're late 4 days a week? I don't know. But like, that's me projecting myself and things that I don't agree with on a situation that I shouldn't be doing that on. I should just keep my brain out of it. But it's hard for me to do that. Like, I don't judge that teacher who's got to drop those kids off and run all over the place, because that's you're not that you're in that space, Kelsey, but like you kind of are in that space. You got little ones at home. You got littles all over the place. Like, it's a lot.
Little activities.
We've all been it's like in the restaurant industry, like you're in the weeds. That's what they used to call it when you got double sat in a restaurant and you had all different orders to take. You were in the weeds. You were trying to get out of it, and if evidently someone would step up to you and be like, hey, can I you want me to run the drinks over for you while you take the sure, okay, so someone would help you out. Like, that's what we got to do.
Right.
We need an environment like that. Anyway, I don't mean to
and no one should be
tangent,
late. I'm sorry.
No.
No. I know that's because like immediately my brain goes to like, I had 5-month-old twins and a 4-year-old, and but it and I get it. I wasn't late to work, but that's part of like what triggers you like as an individual of like lateness. Like, I married someone who is never on time, and I am sitting in the car with 3 kids that I dressed, changed, and ready, and we're waiting for him. So it's just like, it's part of your personality, whether you have 8 people to get ready or just yourself. Some
Baby
people
Boo's got to put his weight back.
I mean,
his
some
weight's
people
back
are
on the
always
rack,
some people are always going to be late, no matter how many. That's the
some are always going to be late or chronically earlier on time. Yeah, it's just like how you run.
And I think this is also me. Like when I lived in Pennsylvania, my kids were little. Like I was still working in the town that I live in now. Traveling an hour and 10 minutes each way. Like I would leave my house at 5:30 in the morning. I'd be at the building by 10 minutes to 7 because I did not want to be late.
Right.
Because if I left at another time, I would be sitting in traffic and I would not make it there. And then I'd feel bad that I'd have to call the office. They'd have to scramble for coverage. My first period class wouldn't have me in the room. It would have like not busy work, but like not me. Like I just did not want to be in that space. So I made every effort to be early.
But if if Rejuvenate, like you said earlier, Kelsey, is someone staying. There was this woman that I taught with for a really long time, and she would stay until 6:30 a few days a week, every week, and it was really important to her to be able to do that. And there were always like, oh, what is she doing? And I think sometimes like when people are making those kinds of comments, it's like it's more about them than it is about her.
Yeah.
And it never stopped her from doing it. And she taught for well over 30 years doing it. But I do think that like that idea of being supportive is really important instead of like the judgmental spaces that sometimes that happen. And if you do want to stay until 6 o'clock, stay if that's what you like to do or need to do, and adjust. I mean, there's not a night that during the school year that goes by that I don't have some sort of like mental preparation and plan, or that I sit down at my computer and check that everything is ready for the next day. That has, I have to say, that's been one of my favorite parts about some of the things becoming digital. Whereas, in the past, when we first started working, you'd have to physically be present to get all the materials together. Whereas, some of the things that are digitized, it's been nice to be able to have some extra time in the evening to be able to do that. But there's many nights where I am, and they say, oh, you're off the clock. But for me, like that makes me feel good and ready to be prepared.
Well, and if it helps you to feel better the next day and enjoy your work more, enjoy the hours that you are on the clock, makes it more enjoyable, then of course it's worth it. Or maybe you just love having like 30 minutes of quiet and organizing in your classroom or whatever it is before you go pick up the kids from daycare and make dinner and get back into that chaos. Maybe it's a moment of peace. It's different for everybody what feels good to you. So I think it's important just to realize what works for you. And then realize what works for you might not be what works for the teacher next door. And it might be different from the teacher across the hall. You all have your own ways of doing it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
none of them are wrong.
And none of them are wrong. I mean, I've had friends who've...
Except if you're late. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean,
except if you're late.
Or, worse than that, you don't say hello. I've had, women like, through the years
Don't get her... Listen.
Don't get me started.
Okay, I want to hear about the don't say hello. We got to hear about that.
If you... before she says it, I'm going to, Kelsey, I hope you can link to this episode. I'll send you the link to it.
Yes,
there's
send
an
me the link.
episode that we did right around my birthday. It was my birthday gift from Jamie. It was called, what really grinds my gears? And it's my favorite episode from season 2. Because
I can't wait.
There's a moment in there where Jamie she becomes the sheriff of the Hi, Hello, How Are You police, and does not like it when people walk by and don't say hi to you in the morning. And she was adamant about citation. She was adamant.
You have been cited by the Hi, Hello, How Are You police. Hi, hello, and how are you? It should
so
just
if you're
be
looking
standard.
for, I just like bombarded the conversation. But if you're looking for an episode to start out with the Balancing Act podcast, that's the one that I would start with.
That's
It
the
really
one.
grinds my gears. And we'll send that link to Kelsey, and she can hopefully
perfect.
add it to the description so you guys could check
Yes,
it out.
I will do that.
I do think that, when you're talking about Rejuvenate, I do think, creating a positive work environment or a place that people want to come and want to be. And and I do think it's, you're not going to, I say this to my students all the time, we work with 80 adults. You are not going to become friends with 80 adults, but you do need to learn how to practice proper social norms. And one of those like acceptable social norms is if you can't, actually say, and I get it, like some people are not morning people, some people are night people or whatever. You can look at someone and give like the very polite nod. Even, you don't have to show me your teeth. It's okay. But just like a slight upturn of like,
acknowledgement of their existence.
Correct. And so they're, and so to me, like if we're supposed to be modeling good behavior and, what is, the right way to present in the world to hundreds and hundreds of kids, they see us. They see people not doing that. And anyone who wants to say like that they don't know, they notice and they know and they get it. And so for me, it's this funny banter that we do, but it is, you are not acknowledging another person and you're now giving a 12-year-old permission to just not acknowledge anybody. And they do soak that in. And so for me, it is like part of that modeling behavior that, and you don't have to like, hi, I'm not expecting a tap dance, although I will take one if you can do it. I mean, I will stand and clap and be so excited. But, so that grinds my gear. It gets me every time. I
totally get where you're coming from with that. Like, yeah. Well, and that's the thing where like human connection is such a big part of what is so important about just, life in general. Yeah. And so I think it is really helpful. Just like a smile, a wave definitely do help with that. And at the same time, what we talked about a lot, even on your podcast, which everybody go back and listen to the other part of this conversation. If you're at this point in this episode, you obviously like this banter we're having. So make sure to listen to part 1 on the Balancing Act podcast.
We are a delight. Come and listen to us.
It's true.
Please do. But I also mentioned like the let them, because we also can't control if they do that or not. So it's kind of like a balancing act of that, right? It's like, oh yeah, I totally agree that I want people to do that. And also we can't control what they do. So what do we do?
Yeah. I still say hi.
Yes. And that's your let me. Like, I'm still going to say hi and you can ignore me and I'm going to say hi.
Because if the tiny observers are observing, they know Mrs. Wanko said hi. You know what I mean? It's still
tiny observers now.
Tiny observers are
That's why I'm at the door in between periods. Kids are coming in. Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning. What's up? How you doing? There's all of that stuff as the kids are coming in the room. Even if they don't acknowledge me, I'm still going to do it.
Oh yeah.
Because one day they'll be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah. Sup. Or I don't know. I feel like the language keeps changing too. I feel like it's changing faster than it used to. Yeah. I don't know. I think the internet must have I'm like, what are all these new terms coming out all the time? I can't even keep up.
No. They added 6,000 words to the dictionary. They're not really words, but.
Yeah. It's like skibbity and bruh and
bruh.
Delulu.
Yeah, Delulu's
Jinx.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they actually added those to the dictionary.
And then in the next vein, I saw that cassette tapes are coming back now. People are like going nostalgic and listening to cassette tapes.
No, well, and cassette tapes, vinyls. I'm actually on the vinyl craze. Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm like, yeah. But, it's funny how things come back,
Back around the way. That's true.
Cassette tapes, though, that's the one I don't get. I'm like, vinyls, they're like pretty and it's cool, but like cassettes, I'm like, why? I don't quite get that one.
Yeah, me neither. But, what goes,
but, if it brings people joy, then have at it,
Absolutely.
Yes.
We all need a little joy
in
everything.
That's so true.
So
if that's what rejuvenates you, then cassette tape away.
Yes.
Then get your cassette tapes.
Yes.
Well, this has been so much fun, both of these episodes. And again, if you just tuned in here on Educate Rejuvenate the podcast, definitely check out the first episode. And we'll link the episode all about the hi, hello, or what grinds your gears as well in the description. Would both of you like to share what are your final thoughts or things, or I don't know if you have any freebies or anything you want to share with the audience. I just hit my microphone because I talk with my hands.
So do we.
We do it too. So check out our podcast. We drop a new episode every Tuesday. We are on every possible platform. Some I I've never heard of before, but I'm sure someone has and enjoy. We are on podcast or Spotify video, YouTube. Help me out, Joe.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
We are on all the socials, the Talk, the Facebook, the Gram. Hit us up. Give us a like, a follow, and subscribe.
Please do. And we
Is it under the Balancing Act on those?
Yes.
Or what?
It's
okay.
at Pod the Balancing Act.
Pod the Balancing
Pod
Act.
the Balancing Act. Yes, because
Balancing
somebody else has the Balancing Act podcast,
Yeah.
and we're going to take them down. Yes. But yeah, that's all things about us for sure. We're on all the socials. You can definitely come and find us.
Yes.
And we hope that, some of your listeners will come and check us out, because we think that our messages are very similar. Like, how do we kind of go through all this craziness together and, find a common ground of, we talk often about plate spinning and keeping everything in the air.
Yes.
So it's just it's a delicate dance, and sometimes the plates fall and break, but we need to pick them up and figure out the best way to move forward.
Well, thank you,
Awesome.
Kelsey.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jamie, for being here and sharing all of your inspiration, but also the laughs. I feel like you two are just like really fun to listen to and hang out with. So I'm sure that everybody listening today or watching can feel that too. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and we'll talk soon. Okay, was I right or what? I just love Joe and Jamie from the Balancing Act podcast so much. You should definitely follow along on their podcast. But this interview is exactly why I invited them to come be the keynote podcast recording on day 2 of the summer refresh. It's going to feel just like this, real and warm and funny, and the kind of conversation that makes you feel less alone in all of the craziness that we call teaching. And here's what I want you to think about after listening to this. So much of what Joe and Jamie talked about today, making time for yourself, not feeling guilty about it, having people around you who just get it, finding that balance between who you are as a teacher and who you are as a whole person. That is exactly what the summer refresh event is designed to give you. It's not just a podcast recording or a bunch of sessions thrown together. It is a room of teachers all choosing, maybe for the first time in a long time, to show up for themselves, choosing that they want to continue to do this thing we call teaching, even with everything we know now, even with eyes wide open, even though like when we chose teaching, it might have been with rosy colored glasses and thinking that it was going to be one way. And now we've come and we're like, whoa, this is what it's like. And now I'm choosing it again because I'm able to set boundaries, because I've surrounded myself with the right people, because I have the right processes in place that I can teach, I can educate and rejuvenate, I can be a whole person outside of it. So that is what the summer refresh is all about. So don't wait on this one. Grab your free spot right now at educateandrejuvenate.com/summer2026. I can't wait to see you there. It's going to be such a great time. And then next week, I'm going to be sharing another favorite episode with you on the podcast. That's what I'll be doing over the summer. I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite episodes and also some other surprises along the way. I have a couple new things planned for you as well. They are going to be audio only for the summer. I do hope to bring YouTube and all new content back here soon. But of course, we are getting this summer event ready. We're going to be doing some master classes in July. It's so much we're coming here to support you with this summer. Thank you for joining me on Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast today. If you love what you heard in this episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you're hungry for even more, be sure to check out the book that I wrote. It's called Educate and Rejuvenate, a 3-step guide to revitalize your teaching, renew your spirit, and reignite your passion for life. It takes everything you learn here on the podcast and that I teach our members inside the Educate and Rejuvenate Club into a guidebook you can refer to again and again. One of our early readers said it was like clarity for her brain. Plus, it's not only a book. With your purchase, you'll get a full PDF guide with exercises and links to videos and more so that you can not only consume but apply everything that you learn. If you're ready to make Educate and Rejuvenate not just a podcast you passively listen to, but a lifestyle that you put into action, it's time to grab your copy on Amazon today. Or head to educateandrejuvenate.com/book to read the first chapter and the introduction today.